Last week, a judge in Texas heard a motion to dismiss from Sidney Powell's attorneys. And what they were attempting to dismiss is an upcoming disciplinary trial for Sidney Powell in the state of Texas, brought by the Texas State Bar for knowingly filing frivolous lawsuits and, of course, trying to extend these lawsuits through the process of appeal in order to drive up the costs for everyone involved. Now, that's a pretty substantial charge, one that absolutely could result in Sidney Powell being disbarred in the state of Texas. And we do know that she was basically hit with the same kind of complaint in the state of Michigan, where the judge who oversaw that trial not only penalized her for it, but also made her take a course in basic law so that, she understands how badly she is screwed up. But her lawyers went into court in Texas last week and actually tried to argue that all of her claims with these lawsuits filed in Wisconsin and Michigan and Texas and everywhere else, that they actually had merit. And that she was just trying to be a good, upstanding citizen by protecting people's votes. And of course, the judge said, no. First of all, this is not an evidentiary hearing. You're trying to get this dismissed and you're going way off topic, which of course, in the rules that they had laid out prior to last week's hearings, you weren't allowed to get off topic. And her lawyers absolutely did. So that's definitely not going to help your case. Again, it was not an evidentiary hearing. You didn't need to lay out all your things. You just needed to say why this was a frivolous motion by the Texas State Bar, and they couldn't do it. Of course, at one point, they did try to claim that this is just a political witch hunt, as if we haven't heard that phrase enough in the last 5 years. But, again, the judge wasn't moved. And that's good. We've got enough, problematic lawyers in this country. We don't need another one like Sidney Powell going out there flooding our judicial system with these knowingly frivolous lawsuits, which of course is what these are. She has no evidence to back up any of her claims. And in fact, some of the other people that have been involved in some of these lawsuits have admitted that. They've said, listen, we don't have anything. We were kind of hoping we'd find it, during the course of discovery. Well, unfortunately, that's not how it works, right? You have to have some kind of evidence to base your case on. You can't just throw something at the wall and hope that you get to the point of discovery to maybe find evidence of a crime. That is not how our legal system works. So the State Bar in Texas, this is what they've hit her with according to Courthouse News. The Bar Association claims Powell filed federal lawsuits in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin that were frivolous and violated Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11 and 5 subsections of the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct. It alleges Powell took positions in the litigation that, quote, unreasonably increased the costs of the cases and, quote, unreasonably delayed their resolution, including an alleged failure to drop a lawsuit in the Eastern District of Michigan when requested relief was moot. Basically what they're saying is, even after her lawsuits had been thrown out without merit, even after she couldn't provide any evidence to back up any of her claims, she continued to push the lawsuit and appeal the rulings when they were thrown out of court, which of course puts unnecessary cost burdens on the people that she's suing, specifically the voting machine companies. So they incurred all of these extra costs because she couldn't let it go, even though she knew she had no case to stand on. So hopefully as this goes forward, Sidney Powell gets kicked out of the state bar of more and more states. I mean, based on what I've seen, I personally don't believe that she should be allowed to practice law anywhere in the United States ever again. You can't crap up our legal system with fake lawsuits just to make Donald Trump happy. Not to mention the fact that Powell actually got fired from Donald Trump's legal team all the way back in November of 22 after she did that ridiculous press conference and pushed all those idiotic conspiracy theories. Even that, the Trump team looked at that, they're like, holy crap. Let's keep Giuliani and his melting hair, but let's not keep this, nutty person because she's making us look bad. She's making us look bad. That's how bad her behavior has been since the 2020 election that even Trump's people were like, whoa, slow down there, crazy. We don't want any of that, as part of our frivolous lawsuits trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.